Well, here we are. After a 9-part journey, literally mapping the territory of reality itself, we finally made it to the end. The finale. It's kind of felt like we've been on this long hike together, you and I. And today we're at the summit. Time to just stop for a second and take in the view.
You know, through all of this, all the lucid glitches, the shattered mirrors, the great unraveling, there's been this one question just sitting there, right in the middle of it all. And it's not a theoretical one. It's about right here, right now. You know, with the news screaming at you, the algorithms pulling you left and right, what does it actually mean to be awake? Like in the real world, in practice? That's what this is all about. That's the question we're finally going to answer.
All right, so let's get into it. Before we can get to that big final answer, we've got to take stock of the toolkit we've been building together. Seriously, think of the last 9 parts of this explainer not as separate episodes, but as us deliberately assembling all the pieces we knew we'd need for this exact moment. Every single one was a crucial upgrade for our consciousness.
So remember, we started way back by giving ourselves permission to doubt everything, to see that glitch in the matrix not as a bug, but as a feature, an upgrade. From there, we looked into that shattered mirror and had that tough realization that the enemy we see out there is really just a projection of what's in here. Then we zoomed out, saw all this chaos as just part of a natural seasonal cycle, gave it a name, the Great Unraveling, and then just last time, we really felt that quantum urgency, that feeling that we have to choose our timeline, and we have to choose it now.
So look, here's where we are. We've built the vehicle, right? We have the mechanism to shift our perception, that assemblage point. We have the steering wheel, which is our attention. We know how to steer. But there's been one huge missing piece this whole time. The power source. We never actually named the engine, the thing that gives you the power to shift from a timeline of fear to one of lucidity. Today we name the engine.
But before we do that, we have to talk about why that engine is completely stalled for most people. Why we're just spinning our wheels in the mud, going nowhere. We have to talk about the big trap. And that trap is the absolute 100% conviction that our side is the right one. And yeah, this is where things might get a little uncomfortable.
Okay, so take a look at this. What's so wild is the symmetry, right? The landscape is perfectly mirrored. You've got one side claiming the moral high ground. They're defending faith, family, tradition. And the other side, they're claiming the exact same moral high ground, just with different words. Empathy, justice, inclusion. But here's the key. Both sides are 100% convinced that the other side isn't just wrong, they're monstrous, irredeemable. And both are being fed a constant 24/7 diet of content designed to keep them angry, reactive, and totally locked in fear.
And this is the gut check moment. If your side, whatever you want to call it, if it requires you to hate, to dehumanize the other side just to function, then you need to hear this. You're not on a side, you're on a menu. That's it. Your flag, your bumper sticker, the color of your jersey, none of it matters. You're on the menu.
Why? Because it's well established that there are forces, non-physical entities, that couldn't care less about your politics. They don't have a political party. They have a diet. The word you see here, Draiths, that's just one name for them. The important part is what they eat. And their diet is low-frequency human emotion. We're talking fear, outrage, dehumanization. And guess what? Both the left and the right produce that exact same frequency of energy. These things, they don't care who wins the election. To them, an election is just a harvest festival. All they need is for the fight to keep going.
Okay, so that's the trap. But here's the thing, the fear machine works so hard to make you forget. Underneath all the jerseys, all the flags, all the tribal identities, there is this huge, vast common ground. And just seeing it, that's what shatters the whole illusion. Which brings us, finally, to the engine we've been looking for. The one signal, the one frequency that fear cannot co-opt, the one thing it has absolutely no defense against, and that's love.
Just look at this. The whole game, the entire system, is designed to focus all of your attention on that tiny little 10% sliver of disagreement. And it works, doesn't it? It completely blinds you to the massive 90% that you share. Think about it. Everyone wants their kids to be safe. Everyone wants to live with dignity. Everyone wants to feel like they matter. Everyone wants to love and be loved. And you know what? Those desires, they vibrate at a frequency that those Draiths, those parasitic forces, they literally can't digest it. They can't feed on it. So the second you see the person you've been taught to hate as just another human who wants those exact same things, poof, the spell is broken.
So yeah, after all this time, after all the deep dives into quantum mechanics and assemblage points and lucid glitches, we arrive at the simplest, but maybe the most difficult truth of all. The force that actually moves timelines, the thing that starves those parasitic energies, the only thing that truly dissolves the shadows. It's love.
But we have to be crystal clear here. I am not talking about sappy, sentimental greeting card love. This isn't some love and light spiritual bypass. No way. We are talking about love as a force, an active strategic weapon. Love as an act of radical, almost insane courage. It's the stubborn, gritty refusal to look at another human being with contempt, no matter what they're telling you to do.
And this right here, this shows you the mechanics of how it all works. It's so simple. Fear is like glue. It just locks your perception into place, into one rigid, ugly story of hate and victimhood. Now knowledge, everything we've been talking about in this series, knowledge shows you that there's a dial. It reveals that you can change the channel. But it's love, and only love, that's the solvent. It's the thing that dissolves the glue of fear, making your perception fluid again. It's the hand that actually turns the dial.
Okay, great. So how do we actually use this force? I mean, this can't just be a nice theory, right? It has to be practical. And it is. Experienced dream masters know a very specific technique for applying this force in a world that feels this divided. It's called value mirroring, and it's how you build a bridge where everyone else is building a wall.
And the way it works is this. It's kind of brilliant, actually. You don't argue with someone using your values. That never works. Instead, you hold up a mirror. You reflect their own highest values back at them. So if you're talking to someone who prides themselves on their compassion, but they're being incredibly cruel, you don't call them a hypocrite. You just gently ask, "Hey, I've always known you to be such a compassionate person. Where is that compassion right now?" See what you're doing? You're not attacking them. You're siding with their highest self against the fear that's temporarily hijacked them.
And listen, if this is starting to sound like some new age theoretical fluff, it's not. This exact mechanic, this exact idea has been woven into the fabric of the Dreams of Phillip Aisling from the very beginning. In fact, it's the ultimate case study.
Just think back to Philip's prophetic dream about his friend Cynthia. He sees it all play out, this highly probable future where she's going to be publicly humiliated on stage. And the rules of dreaming are clear. Do not interfere. But he can't stand it. He can't bear to see her in that pain, so he chooses love over the rules. And he doesn't swoop in and save her like a hero. No, he does something smarter. He just kills the lights. He disrupts the rigged game and creates an opening, an opportunity for her to find her own strength, her own power in that sudden darkness.
And later, when he confesses what he did to the metaphysician, what happens? Does he get punished for breaking the rules, for meddling with fate? No. He's told, "Your intentions are noble, young dreamer." Because those who've truly mastered this stuff, they know that love is a form of magic. It's the highest form of magic there is. It's a force that can literally bend the lines of probability and change what seems like a fixed fate.
So, let's bring this all the way down to earth. What does this mean for you, in your life, tomorrow morning when you wake up? Let's bring it all home with a direct call to action. 3 simple practical things you can do to start putting your own hand on the dial.
Because we know from practice that becoming lucid, it isn't one big, dramatic lightning strike from the heavens. Nope. It's a practice. It's 1,000 small, conscious choices you make day in and day out. So let's start with just 3.
Okay, number 1, run a self-diagnostic. That's it. Before you hit share on that post that makes your blood boil, just pause for 1 second and ask yourself, whose work am I doing right now? What am I feeding with this outrage? Number 2, practice that value mirroring technique we talked about. But start small, okay? Don't try to take on your biggest political opponent on Twitter. Just try it with a coworker or a family member. See what happens. And number 3, and this is the big one, integrate your own shadow. The work out there and the work in here are the exact same thing. You can't love other people into coherence if you still hate parts of yourself.
Because here's the bottom line. Being awake isn't a status. It's not a badge you earn or something you put in your bio. It's a verb. It's an action. It is the choice, moment by moment by moment, to reach for love when the entire world is screaming at you to reach for a sword. It's choosing connection when every single one of your instincts, every algorithm is begging you to choose fear.
And that, right there, is the final takeaway of this whole 10-part journey. The ultimate source of your power, it isn't out there somewhere. It's been with you this entire time. The whole system, the whole fear machine wants you to believe you're stuck, that you're helpless, that you're glued to their station, listening to their broadcast of fear. But you're not. You were never glued to the fear station. You always had your hand on the dial.